Hank, great guy to this day. We stay in touch with each other. Moved into a part of town, community of town. Wasn't aware of where I was living. I was living in an area called Bucktown, and didn't know it was Bucktown. And I wasn't very welcome there. So, my van got vandalized, my house got vandalized, paint remover things. There was a lot of constant things going on. So I wasn't real happy here.
All right. Chuck Muncie, 6'3", 235 pounds, 4.340.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw you run over guys, and I saw you run away from them as soon as you found the alley to freedom. All the natural ability in the world, all the God-given talent, almost 10,000 yards in only 9 seasons when the NFL was not diluted in talent by all the expansion. You retire, your life goes to shambles. You feel like you didn't do right by yourself, to yourself.
I could dwell on that forever. People do. Some people never move on with their lives. I've been fortunate enough to be able to move on with my life and do things that I'm very successful and very proud of.
How long you been clean?
Been clean over 13 years now, so it's a good thing.
No monkey on your back?
No, the monkey on the back is what if you want to carry the monkey, he's going to get on your back. And so if you continue in that lifestyle, if you continue in that environment, I think you're always going to have that monkey on your back. If you wake up in the morning and you got to focus on things to do with your life and you're busy, that monkey's not on your back. I don't have to deal with that anymore.
So you don't have to fight the drive, the desire to do drugs anymore?
No, I don't.
Been clean 13 years.
I've been clean 13 years. I got other things that are stronger, that have a stronger pull on my life than the urge to get high or do the things like that.
How'd you beat it? How did you beat it? How did you get that monkey?
Sitting in prison for 3 years, there's not much there.
Straighten you out?
Like I said, the only person, you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror, the only person looking back at you is you. And there's nobody to blame anything on. You can't point fingers because when you point, you got, 4 pointing back at you. And so you have to, at some point, make a decision. Am I going to look at the past and say, oh, well, I could have did this, or that person, these guys should have helped me, or I should have, it was on me.
I take the rap all by yourself.
It's all by myself. Yeah. I'm a grown man. I'm an adult.
One of the last stories I did in television was on the late Frank Warren. Frank was a friend. You and
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know you all were close. Matter of fact, he stayed with you.
Well, he rented my house.
Rented your house.
Yeah.
Okay. The story I did on Frank was, his career. He had a cocaine problem, and I remember him telling me. He said, Vince, I have to fight. That's all right. Get that cell phone out of your pocket there. Don't they know you're on Sports Talk right now?
Probably why.
Yeah? Come on.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. We have a break in the action here, folks, while Chuck Muncie tries to get the cell phone out of his pocket there. All right, there you go. We got it out.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. We're going back to Frank Warren. Frank told me in the story I did with him that that he had to fight the desire to do drugs every day of his life. He said, Vince, when the monkey jumps on your back, he's there forever until you die. And when you die, he jumps on somebody else's back. And, of course, ultimately, I think it led to Frank's early demise. So you are very fortunate that you don't have that monkey on your back, and you've been clean for 13 years, my friend.
There's always things lingering in the background.
Right.
There's always opportunities. If you want to put yourself in that position to take advantage of that or be taken advantage of. And I think that's what drugs do to a lot of people. It takes advantage of you. And so I have positioned myself not to be in that environment and to be able to walk my talk every day, because that's what I do through the Chuck Muncie Youth Foundation with prevention. I'm in treatment every day. All right, we're going to talk more about that. Chuck's going to stay with us throughout the hour. If you want to call and talk with him, you have a question or two for him, call us at 260-187. This is Sports Talk on WWL 870 AM.
Sports Talk with guest host Vince Marinello. To talk sports, call 504-260-1870.
And our guest for this entire hour is former Saints All-Pro running back Chuck Muncie, who went on to stardom also at the San Diego team. Well, I tell you what, The lines are lighting up. They want to talk to you, Chuck. We got about 4.5 minutes for this segment. I'm going to try to get to all of your calls within this next segment. So I'm going to ask you to be brief, get your question in so we can get to as many of you as possible. William in Thibodeau, go on. You're on with Chuck Muncie. Go ahead, William.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
Hey, William, how you doing?
All right, since we don't have much time, man, first of all, one of these days I'll get you in that Saints Hall of Fame, okay?
I appreciate it. And I got to get your shirt back to you, too.
Yeah, also, real quick, tell everybody the story about how you found out in 1980 you got traded from New Orleans to San Diego.
Well, I tell you, we had just played in Miami. We went down and played in Miami, and Rosenblum was the general manager back then. And really, they told me I wasn't going anywhere. I was never going to be traded. I was going to be a Saint forever. And we had just played. Matter of fact, I think that was the one game we won. The Saints won that year.
1-15.
1-15. And coming back from, we flew back into New Orleans after the game, and Tank Younger, the general manager, and Johnny Sanders from the San Diego Chargers were actually out on the runway waiting for the plane to land. They couldn't wait for me to get off that plane. I got off the plane, got on another plane that same night, and went back to San Diego.
All right. Thank you, William. Don in Metairie, you're on with Chuck Muncie. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, good evening. How y'all doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Oh, good deal, good deal. I remember the Cole game y'all played, San Diego, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Do you recall that day?
Oh, absolutely. That was, dude, I still got frostbite from that game. I tell you, it was the coldest game, I think, in the history of the NFL. Wind chill about 59 below zero. It was a tough one. I think the weather definitely was the thing that beat us. It wasn't the Bengals. It was the weather.
Do you still wear those glasses?
Absolutely, but they're not the black horn rims no more.
I remember that.
I still got those, but I don't wear them anymore.
Well, that was so cool. You were like ahead of your time.
You know, that's what people tell me.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Leonard in Harvey, you're on with Chuck Muncie. Go ahead, my friend.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
Just fine. How are you?
Pretty good. I just want to commend. I thought you guys had one of the best backfields with you and Tony Galvin. But I got a question I want to ask.
Sure.
Were you the fastest Saint? I know Webb Chandler played on that team, and I know I didn't really think they'd clock you all back then in the 40s.
No, actually, back then I did run the fastest 40 on the team. Wes was a smooth, receiver. Wes had quick bursts.
Fluid motion.
Yeah, he had quick bursts, but longevity, he really,
he couldn't hand you, huh?
He couldn't get
the farther the race, the farther the distance between you, huh?
It was like a thought.
All right, Leonard, thanks for calling. John in Picayune, Mississippi, you're on with Chuck Muncie. Go ahead.
Hello, Chuck and Vince. How y'all doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Great.
My question, Chuck, I'm a big fan. I just wanted to know why, since you were putting up such big numbers, how come you didn't play, 14 or 15 years? And when you retired, if you did have any offers from any other teams to keep playing, and I'll hang up and listen.
Actually, the reason why was because of my drug use. First of all, the reason why I got out of the game. But even after that, I was suspended. I don't know if you guys remember, Roselle suspended me for a year. And after that 1 year, I did go back and I played with the Minnesota Vikings for a half year. Actually, Archie was up there.
Yeah.
And, we both left Minnesota around the same year and stuff. But that's what I did. And I did have some offers, but my interest just wasn't there at the time.
All right, we're going to take another break. And when we return, call us at 260-1870 to talk with Chuck Muncie. This is Sports Talk on WWL 870 AM.
Grant Dodge on the West host Vince Marinello on WWL. To get online, call 504-260-1870.
And my guest here on Sports Talk for this entire hour is former Saints All-Pro running back, Chuck Muncie. Chuck, pleasure to have you, my friend. Before we take some more calls, and by the way, we still got a couple of lines. I mean, the lines lighted up the last segment there, people wanting to talk to you. How old are you now?
50.
6'3", 235. Is it still 235?
Well, add a few. We might have to add about 10, 15 more pounds on that, but that's about it.
4'3" in the 40. You still run the 40?
Well, you want to go out and run?
How fast are you running it these days?
About a 4.8.
No, I'll pass. At age 50?
At age 50.
You're running 4.8?
Yeah.
No, I know I'll pass. Let's go to Vincent. In Metairie, you want to talk to Chuck Muncie. Go ahead.
Muncie.
Vincent.
Hey, buddy. This is me and Breaky. Hey, buddy.
You guys eating some good food out there or what?
We're eating some good food.
All right, I love it.
Me and Brinky think you were the best to ever play the game. The fastest, the biggest, the strongest.
Well, I appreciate it. You guys, you know, it helps when you guys are good friends of mine, so I really appreciate that
but
comment.
you know, we're always going to be your good friend, buddy.
All right, babe. Thanks.
Good
All right.
talking to you.
All right, Vincent, thanks for
Timmy
calling.
boy.
All right, let's see. Dane in Slidell, you're on with Chuck Muncie. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to tell Chuck how much I appreciated and how refreshing it was to hear someone actually take credit that they're to blame for things that happen to themselves, especially in today's world with the pro athletes, just because they're in the limelight. Talking about Kobe, 136 million, and as long as everything's going great, it's me being me, and if something goes wrong, it's everybody else's fault. So I just wanted to tell him I appreciated hearing someone stand up and say, I caused what happened, and I made it wrong, and I'm the one who can make it right.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. Well, that's
All right.
that's what it's all about, Chuck. Accountability.
That's it.
Unfortunately, nowadays, accountability is almost a thing of the past. When things go good, everybody wants a piece of the credit, and when things go wrong, it wasn't my fault. Bobby in Gonzales, you're on with Chuck Muncie. Go ahead, Bobby.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
Good. I just wanted to say, as a kid, you lived in my subdivision when you lived on Lake Trail.
Oh, okay.
And just wanted to tell
Rich
you
Zorro was over there, too.
Huh?
Rich Zorro was over there, too, so go ahead.
As a kid, you came out anytime we came to the door, you'd come out and talk to us, and just wanted to tell you how much I appreciated it and what a good guy we thought you were.
Well, thank you very much. I tell you, I loved it over there. You know, used to have my dogs running up and down the street over there. I loved it over there at Lake Trail. Great place.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for calling. Chuck, how involved, first of all, let's talk, why are you here in New Orleans?
Well, we're here with a group of partners of mine. We have a company called Northeast Sports Group, and we run the ultimate football camps. It's sort of a unique type concept. I don't think anybody in the country is doing it. We invite and coaches from universities all across the country come to this, college coaches, volunteer their services to come and do an instructional camp, a 2-day camp for kids age 8 all the way up to 17 years old. We have guys like Randy Shannon from the University of Miami, who's a defensive coordinator, head coach of Harvard. We have SC. I mean, you name it, from Division I all the way to Division III. And what we're trying to do is just get an opportunity for these kids who want to learn how to play football from some good guys that want to teach them how to play, and also it's a great opportunity for some of these coaches to see some skilled players out there. But, you know, our camp is a little different. It's a lot different. We not only have the football side of it on the field and what have you, but we also focus on the academic side and the classroom side and the workshop side. We invite parents to come for free. We have a lot of information on the Princeton Review, comes in, talks about the SAT and the ASAT test. We have Intuition, who comes in and talks about financial aid, availability of monies from Division I to Division III, because not every school has scholarships to give away, but schools do have financial aid available for places.
All right, this weekend, where?
We're doing it at the Lario Center, across over in West Bank.
In Kenner?
Over in Kenner.
Oh, no, the Lario Center.
Yeah,
It's across the river.
Stream there.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, and people can get in touch. They can go to northeastsportsgroup.com. Kids can register online, or they can call our office at 315-689-5233. And we're also...
what are you looking for in terms of help, in terms of maybe subsidizing some of these kids?
Well, I would love to have somebody step up and sponsor some of these kids. It's, you know, my foundation is actually sponsoring 100 kids. We put up the money. It's normally $160 for this camp. We sponsored 100 kids. Even if a kid only has $20,
yeah,
and they want to come to this camp, we'll take them. If they got $50 they want to come to this camp, we'll take them, and we'll sponsor them through this foundation, because we want to come back next year and make this thing really successful.
A lot of pro athletes, quite frankly, they lend their name, or names. Are you lend your name, or are you actively involved?
I started the Chuck Muncie Youth Foundation. I empty the trash cans. I run programs. I do counseling. I'm out there coaching. I am hands-on involved. My wife and I wrote programs together. We have them copywritten in our name, and I tell you, we started this thing back in 1990 and have worked it ever since, and it's just my wife and I. Everybody else in my organization volunteers their services. No one has ever taken a paycheck from my nonprofit organization, including myself. 99 cents out of a dollar goes to programs, goes to funding and helping kids.
How do they get in touch with you?
They can go to chuckmuncie.org through the Chuck Muncie Youth Foundation, or they can email me at, it's on there also, my email address is on there, or, like I said, they can go to northeastsportsgroup.com.
260-1870 if you want to talk to Chuck Muncie. Chuck, how active are you on, let me ask you this, let me rephrase that. How involved are you? Do you watch the NFL these days? Do you sit there and say, oh, man, why did he make that move? Why didn't he cut inside? Why did he do this? How active are you? Does the game mean as much to you now?
You know, the game means a lot to me. But I tell you, I'm more focused on a lot of the younger players now. I'm not really looking at the NFL as much. I'm looking at the more developmental type stages of a player's career. I do watch games on Sundays. I get bored with them these days.
You don't coach them? I mean, you don't get...
I don't coach them. I don't sit there and
you don't
talk
criticize,
about it.
you don't critique, nothing?
Only when a kid comes to me or someone comes to me and says, well, how would you handle this or what would you do in this situation? Then I work with them. And I work with kids on the weekends. We train them on Saturday and Sunday out there in California. Work with a great guy by the name of Roger Theater, who's one of the great quarterbacks, I think probably one of the greatest quarterback coaches that ever was. But I work with the running backs. He works with the quarterbacks. We have other people work with receivers, defensive players, what have you. And that's on the weekend. We do that for free. And so I get my fill of football on the weekends, and it's a lot of fun.
How much conversation do you have with kids who maybe are either into drugs or running with the wrong gangs or gang members? How much involvement do you have with these kids who are either, quite frankly, the thugs or right at being a thug?
Well, I am hands-on involved. I run groups. I run workshops. I sit on youth intervention panels. I work with juvenile justice system. We work with the school district. We work with probation department. I'm there every day. That's what I do. And I tell you, I see it every day. We get kids referred to us from the schools. We get kids referred to us from the police department. I have parents coming in saying, my kid's out of control. What can I do? How can I help my kid? And we try to work with parents, everybody across the board.
Do you save any? Do you save many? Do you save any? What's the rate of do they accept what you're saying? Do you see some of just hard cases? What is it exactly?
Well, the recidivism rate of the kids that go through our program is about, we see about a 60%, repeat. Type thing where the kids...
There's just some hard cases that you find.
And then there's those kids that just don't care, that don't get it, who've never had any guidance in their life. And it's kind of tough when you get hold of a 16, 17-year-old kid who's never had any guidance in their life. And you only have a short period of time to deal with them. If I could have these kids in the camp for a year or 2 years or something like that.
Just don't have the time.
Just don't have the time to be able to do it.
Randy and Hammond, you're on with Chuck Muncie. Go ahead, Randy.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing? This is Randy. I just want to tell you hello, man, and I'm happy to hear you're doing good. You're kind of one of the guys that played with the Saints that was probably one of the best running backs they ever had other than one we got now. But I just want to tell you congratulations, and I go way back with you. I remember when you used to have that puke green Mercedes. I don't know if you remember that.
What kind of green?
Oh, you know what kind. It's one question.
Chuck, you had a car like that?
It wasn't that ugly. I think it was pretty sharp at the time, but it was a little lime green kind of.
Oh, lime green.
Metallic lime green there, so yeah.
Remember that big hat you used to go with it, man. And I just want to ask you two questions. One is if you ever see or speak with Tony Galbraith, then I remember the contract that you signed as a rookie, and that was big money back then. What you think you'd be worth now?
Well, yes, I do talk to Tony once in a while. Matter of fact, I just talked to him about a couple weeks ago, and he's doing okay. Things aren't as good as they could be, but he's hanging in there. And as far as the contracts today, Believe me, I would be a very happy man if I was playing today. I would be very happy.
Well, I tell you, when you see the contracts that some of these guys, not only in football, but in basketball, we were just talking about they had the end of the 2-week player movement moratorium in the NBA. Guys are getting money that's obscene money.
Amazing.
So you just came along too early, my friend. We're going to take another break. If you want to talk with Chuck Muncie, 260-1870. This is Sports Talk on WWL, 870 AM. They call Doug the Rocket, because when you need something done fast, Doug is who you call. Right up.
Sports Talk with guest host Vince Marinello. To talk sports, call 504-260-1870.
And we're talking with Chuck Muncie, former All-Pro back with the New Orleans Saints and All-Pro back with the San Diego Chargers. Cliff and Morello, you want to talk to Chuck about the camp this weekend. Go on, my friend. Hello, Cliff. Well,
How you doing, Vince?
I'm doing fine. You're on with Chuck Muncie. Go ahead.
Sir, I want to say how you doing, Chuck.
Doing just
I
fine.
appreciate all of the things that you've done for the Saints.
Okay.
You know, I remember when I was in high school days, you were playing back in '79, and me and my friends used to look at Thunder and Lightning all the time. I remember that nickname. And I also want to appreciate you for the camp that you're going to have at the Larion Center, and I do have 2 sons that's going to be there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I tell you, just go online and register your boys online at northeastsportsgroup.com, and or you can give us a call at 315-689-5233, and any other kids that want to come. We appreciate any support we get.
All right, Cliff, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Chuck, highlights or highlights of your stay here in New Orleans as a member of the Saints? Had any?
You know, I mean, definitely, as far as a highlight, I mean, being part of a team that was the first time they ever played on Monday Night Football against the Raiders, although we lost it. It was a great first half.
Was that when you all were winning 35-7 at the half?
35-7. We just
you got beat 42-35? I would have thought that might have been a low light.
That was, you know, that's like I said, the first half was a lot of fun. You know, that first half was amazing.
I think what? Snake, huh?
Snake and Cliff Branch and Saber just went off on it.
If I remember, though, you had a big game, couple of 3 touchdowns,
160, 170 yards.
What happened in the second half?
Second half, we didn't get the ball.
Was it 3 and out?
It was 3 and out. They stepped it up. And the other thing,
that wasn't the one. Was that the 1 in 16? No, that wasn't the 1 in 15.
No, that was before. Yeah, that's the year.
Well, you on the 1 in 15?
Yeah, I got out of there on that 1 in 15. I was only part of it, but being the first player to rush for 1,000 yards in Saints history. You know, going to the Pro Bowl, first time a Saints running back or anybody went to the Pro Bowl, being MVP of the Pro Bowl that year, it was great. Playing for Landry at the Pro Bowl, I mean, stuff like that was a highlight.
How has the league changed since you were playing? Obviously, we've got expansion. The talent has been diluted. Quite frankly, there's some guys in the NFL that are playing would have had to buy a ticket back certain years ago before they had expansion, but that's good. It creates more jobs. It's good for economies, different cities, more jobs for coaches. I also believe there's some coaches in the National Football League that are coaching only because there's expansion. But that aside, how has the league changed in your opinion?
Well, you know, I look at, you know, first of all, I think they've taken away from the game by all the changes that they've made with the protections that they're doing, you know, for certain players, quarterbacks.
Don't touch the quarterback.
Don't touch the quarterback. No more bump and run. You got these guys out here now that are running 4.2s or 4.3s. If I can't come up and bump you, I'm out of luck. He's gone. He's gone. You know, and so things like that they've taken away, that I think they've taken away a lot of the physical part of the game, which I think brings out the passion in those individual players. I mean, the guys who taught me and the guys I played against, you know, they had a passion for the game. It was a physical game. You knew you were going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't get hurt, you weren't playing. Right. That was the mentality.
You were dogging it, huh?
You were dogging it. If you weren't hurt or tired at the end of a game, you weren't playing. I see these guys coming out now. Their gear don't even get dirty. I mean, they hardly sweat anymore. And I think the focus is away from the game. I think the focus is on individuals. No more teamship. You know, team camaraderie thing is gone.
Well, that's because probably free agency. Guys don't stay around long enough. They move on. Also, you got agents. Agents probably telling their star players, look, if you don't feel 100%, don't play, this weekend. You got a contract year coming up, or you're in a contract year. So I would suspect that a lot of this has to do with agents and free agents and salary caps and whatever. What always is a pet peeve of mine when I hear people say that the players nowadays in all sports, they're bigger, faster, and stronger. Well, they're bigger, faster, and stronger for a couple of reasons. One is all-year training camps. Right. Who knows if any of them are taking performance-enhancing drugs and supplements and nutrients. You played with what? Hay, oats, and water? I mean,
that was it. Huh? That was it. Just put the feed bag on in the morning.
I'm going to ask you, with your cocaine problems, well documented. You ever use steroids?
Never.
Was it prevalent back when you played?
It was getting into the league. It was starting to happen. Like you said, there were certain guys who really probably shouldn't have been playing at that time that took some of the stuff that, you see them one season and they're 200 pounds and come back the next season, they're 260 and they're sitting there going, man, what happened to you? But they still couldn't play.
Was cocaine prevalent?
Oh, cocaine was prevalent. Cocaine was prevalent when I came into the league.
I'm going to ask you, did you ever play when you were high?
No.
Never played?
Never played when I was high.
Never took any of the stuff before the game?
Never before the game. After the game? Oh, yeah.
You did it,
the week? Oh, yeah.
How about during the week?
Yeah, during the week, after practice. I mean, you couldn't do it during practice.
Right.
The Saints facility isn't like it was. Now, back then, I mean, we were all in one room. And so there wasn't no place you could go, and there wasn't 2 bathroom stalls and a shower. But,
but Sunday afternoon, you played.
Oh, yeah. It's time to go to work.
You didn't.
I respect the game that much.
Whatever.
It was time to go to work.
Absolutely. Well, again, as we talked about at the outset of this program, you have readily admitted, when you came into the studios today, you said, hey, Vince, good to see you. I said, Chuck, nice to see you. And I asked you, I said, look, now, if we're going to do this interview, we have to do it candidly. I'm going to ask you the tough questions. If there's anything, I don't want to embarrass you. And you said, hey, you ask me whatever you want to ask me. Because what I did was wrong. Right. I take full responsibility. Nobody, wasn't any reason or reasons why, I did what I did. Other than that, I was dumb. I was stupid. I did it, Hey, limelight gets you. I mean, a lot of wine, women, and songs.
There you go.
A lot of hangers-on.
Coming out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania, 7,000 people, You go to Berkeley, there's 20,000 people in the dorm. My mouth was dropped open for about a year and a half. It was an amazing thing. It was just a different lifestyle than I had ever seen.
Yeah, well, what pleases me most is to hear you say that the monkey is not on your back. You've been clean 13 years, and not only that, you do not have the desire to do drugs. No. Each and every day. You don't have to fight that monkey because he's indeed off of your back.
Yeah, because I work the treatment every day. I run my programs for Chuck Muncie.
So you learned a lesson.
I learned a lesson. And I'm learning lessons every day.
What you have to do is to help the kids who may be in danger of following into your footsteps.
Absolutely. And provide them with tools to be able to make good choices, good decisions.
All right. Chuck Muncie, we want to wish you the very best, my friend, with your foundation, and stay clean and continue your life as it is going for you, obviously, right now.
Vince, thanks for having me.
Hey, it was
really
my
good
pleasure.
to see you.
It was my pleasure seeing you and pleasure having you, and the phone lines lighted up. They wanted to talk with you.
Well, I appreciate everybody.
That wraps up our show for tonight, folks. We hope you've enjoyed.